Good morning. It's Wednesday, and it is that time again. This is the inBLOOM podcast. I'm Josh Bickford. I am your host. This is our daily conversation over a cup of coffee on thriving, on life, and in real estate. If you have never been here before, if you've never caught one of our live broadcasts on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, welcome. So thrilled that you're here today. If you are listening anywhere else that you can get your podcasts, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you find this to be something that encourages you, inspires you, and you walk away from this conversation a little bit more confident in your day and more excited about what is to come. So this week we have been talking about assumable mortgages. It's kind of been the theme. It's where the opportunity is going to be in the upcoming market. Easy to see why. The market went crazy when you could get 3% or sub 3% interest rates. Everybody wanted to buy. Demand was off the charts, and they did not want to miss out on that opportunity. Well, that opportunity still exists. Only you got to kind of know what you're doing now. It's not every single deal that can do that. It's only like 20, 30, 35% of them. Those deals are going to be awesome. And when you're competing with 7 or 8 or 9% interest rates, people are going to want to buy that house first if it's your listing. And if they're going to want to, if they're buying, they're going to want to buy that house first. They're going to pick the mortgage. That is the most marketable thing about that property. They're going to pick it over, hey, I back a main road and the house isn't updated, and that one backs a golf course and it's been updated, but it'll cost you twice as much every month. Well, people are going to pick the half. Like, that's just how it's going to be. So the opportunity here is massive. I hope that you're hearing that from me. Below the video, you can see links here. I've got a free class to teach you this stuff. It's 3 parts, kind of bullet points. Teach me the bullet points and I'll go figure it out myself. On the other side of the 3-point class, there is a master class that I have prepared for people who want to deliver excellence for their clients from the very first assumable deal that they do. It goes through everything, and it's awesome. And I put the first lesson in the free course. There's a YouTube link below as well. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like the post, share it with your friends, add some value to the people around you. If you know somebody who's looking for a house, this is a great opportunity for them. If they're looking to sell and you know that they've got an FHA, VA, or USDA mortgage, this would be something good to show them because the opportunity is massive. And if their agent doesn't know how to take care of it, they need to find an agent who does. And if you're an agent looking for clients, those are the people you're looking for. So where to find assumable mortgages, where to find assumable loans. People search those based on both of those 2 words. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Where do you find these? How can you locate them? So I want to start with public searches. This is where your buyers are going to be looking. If they are looking for assumable mortgages, they're going to look on Zillow, right? Everybody goes to Zillow. And if they go to Zillow and they look for assumable, they're not going to find very many homes that are, because agents don't put that in the public remarks. You catch where I'm going with this? The most marketable thing about the house is the mortgage. The thing that's going to make it have the most demand is the mortgage. The thing that's going to cause it to get the greatest price is the mortgage. Like, all of that's true. You need to put in your descriptions on listings when they are assumable that it is. And I would include, if it's allowable in your state, with your board, in your MLS, you're assuming a mortgage that balances roughly this. The interest rate is this. This is the payment. Compared to a new blank, 7%, whatever the current rate is, you would save this much every month. Like, there's something along those lines that needs to be included, because that is what stands out about this property, 100%. So when I look on Zillow, I add to my search terms, assume, ASSUM, so that if the agent writes assumable, assume the mortgage, that kind of stuff, it's all there. So if anyone's looking for you can do that in your town right now. Just look for assume. You're only going to find a couple of them because agents never put that information in there. And when they do, they don't show you what an opportunity it is. This has an assumable 3.5% FHA mortgage. That does not mean anything to anybody. But if they can see that it's $1,000 cheaper every single month than the house next door that's for sale, you're going to get some interest then. And you want your phone to ring. Like, you want buyers calling you. You like, obviously your job is to move property. So make sure that people who are looking in public can find your listing that has an assumable mortgage and they understand why the opportunity is there. Don't bury it. Don't try to hide it. Don't think that the new carpet is more important than half the payment of the house next door. Trust me on this. In the MLS, so some MLSs have a box, or they'll have a section where you can fill out all the assumable information. You can put the rate, you can put the approximate balance, you can notate that it's assumable. All of that is fantastic. None of that is publicly available information. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind, if you're searching for assumable mortgages for a buyer, that you are assuming that agents are putting the information in correctly. And I promise you, based on the numbers, Colorado Springs here has that section in their MLS. And when you search there, there's only a few available. It's a military town, VA mortgages everywhere. So don't think that agents are going to fill that out for you. Make sure if your MLS has that and you have one of those, that you fill that out, because the agents who don't know to double check this stuff, they're going to click that box, and then you're one of the few because you were proactive and took care of that for your clients. I'll leave the second half of that sentence off. When you are doing buyer searches for your buyers, when you're digging into the MLS, you will have a couple. Every MLS is a little bit different, so I'm going to share what ours are, but hopefully you will have this. If yours is different, it will ring a bell or jog your memory. So in the MLS, you can, in RE Colorado, you can search the property history. There's like a tab across the top for history. So you could, if people were looking in a specific school district or a specific neighborhood or a specific county or zip code or whatever, you could do that search, and then everything that popped up, you could go through and hit history and then look and see which homes have a VA, a USDA, or an FHA note. You go through and do that, and then narrow your list to the stuff that doesn't have that. Or really smart would be to give them one that's just like those that isn't assumable, so that you can show them the comparison. I've got a comparison tool that is attached to the free mortgage class, I believe. I'll link it below this video. Actually, I think we should do that, so you can compare what the deal looks like on an assumable and a not assumable. I did one of these. I think it's in the free class, where it was a $625,000 house, and it was $700 or $800 less per month if you assume the mortgage versus if you didn't. And there were two houses that were just the same thing. So it's like, this one will save you $750 a month. Which one do you prefer? Easy. So you can narrow the list that way. You can go to Realist Tax. You can insert all of the listing numbers that you pulled, and then it will search all of those within Realist, and then you can do it that way. Both of those work. And if you have people who want assumable mortgages, take the extra step to filter their list for them if your MLS won't do it, and do it if your MLS will do it, because realtors don't know that FHA is assumable, VA is assumable, USDA is assumable. They get the listing, and hey, they aren't. There's a lot of people who are trying to conform the market to what it used to be, and they're telling everybody that rates are going to be going down, and hey, I think we're about to the end of this. Hey, I think we're nearing going back to what we were just in. There is a denial of reality with that. Over the last 50 years, the average 30-year interest rate, according to Freddie Mac, is 7.8%. The outlying years from 1971 to 2022 are 2010 through 2022. Those are the outliers. We left the outlier market and we are going back to normal. We're going to have to overcorrect. Like I say all the time, we are not going to pretend something's going on that's not. We are not going to hope for something. We're going to approach everything with eyes wide open so that we can see the opportunities that are in front of us, period. The assumable mortgage is a huge opportunity because we are not going back to where we came from. And a side note, if the Federal Reserve decided to change course and go back to that, you're talking about inflating the currency away. You're talking about $20 for a loaf of bread, maybe more. If you ever have time to read about the Weimar Republic and what happened, it all kind of, the world fell apart when that was going on in the 20s. I think that was the 1920s, but it was what led us to, World War and all kinds of, maybe it was the 30s that they went through that. But people would get paid and they would have a wheelbarrow full of cash to take to the store. And they would leave the wheelbarrow outside and people would dump the cash out and steal the wheelbarrow. It's hard to comprehend how horrible that is for a country. Obviously, I mean, World War II came about because of that. If you're wanting interest rates to go back to that zero interest rate policy the Fed was doing in an inflationary market, that's what you're wanting. That's what you're asking for. That's what you're hoping for. That is far worse than the pain that we're going to go through to correct this mistake that they made over the next 5-10 years, where everything is going to be expensive and they're pulling money out of the economy, and it's tough. Like that's coming. Like it's inflate everything away and go through Weimar Republic Germany, or make everything expensive, pull money out of the economy, and get us back to the equilibrium, back to actual supply and demand and all of that. That's a whole side note. That's why I say conversation. I'm not really trying to teach you on one specific bullet pointed thing here. But if you look with eyes open, like the opportunity of these are huge, because these are the interest rates that people went crazy for, and you're going to be able to provide them in an environment that doesn't have access. And so many people aren't going to understand how this works, or that this is the opportunity that's coming, or that there are unbelievably by month, every single payment you pay is a huge savings. And on top of that, you're paying the principal down faster. I mean, it's an unbelievable opportunity for the buyer and for the seller. And agents are going to get to capitalize on that because you're going to be able to move product. So realist tax search, you can go through, take the time to filter these things for your people. Show them the difference between what a new origination looks like and what an assumable origination looks like. I guess it wouldn't be an origination, an assumable transaction. If you do farming and marketing and that sort of thing, specific to neighborhoods or zip codes, lots of real estate agents do that. There's services like PropStream. They're abundant. The list pulling services that people use to build their list out of these things. Make sure that you can search by mortgage type. Farming from I want to send a letter to a bunch of people with FHA mortgages or VA mortgages. I want to start marketing to them so that I can build a pipeline full of listings that are assumable, that I can market better than everybody else in my market and sell, because the opportunity is huge for buyers on these properties. Do that. Like whatever the services that you use, see if they can pull by that list. If your realist can do that, some can, some can't. But PropStream is one. I've got a few more of them in my masterclass. I don't have them all pulled here, but if you do searchable list by mortgage type on Google, you should be able to find a few of those. The idea would be to build a pipeline full of those deals on the listing side. Those are going to sell. Those are affordable. People buy on payments. Like it might be really cool to build an entire pipeline full of $5 million homes. But if the economy is constricting and those aren't moving, you got to sell them to get paid. So going to have to think through some of this stuff a little bit differently than we've had to over the last few years, because the market is going to be quite a bit different. So I've got building a pipeline full of these. Obviously, marketing for buyers, if you're searching for those, all you've got to do is compare. This is what an assumable deal looks like. This is what a new origination looks like. And you can show them with two houses that are very similar price, similar house. It's available in every market. Say, hey, if we go this route, it would be this. If we go this route, it would be this. Share this stuff on your social media profiles. Share it on your email lists and when you're sending stuff to people. There is huge opportunity here. People are starting to search for online assumable mortgages. And I don't mean agents and the real estate community. I mean buyers. They're starting to see that. If you may see if you're on TikTok or in your YouTube shorts or your Instagram reels and stuff, you may be seeing people sharing information about assumable mortgages. Now, typically they're only half right, or they get a little bit right, or they don't really understand what they're talking about, or they're figuring out that there's an opportunity there. Like, people are starting to see that. The depth of, I can provide wow to my clients with this from day one, and I can explain it to them simply. That's why you're here. That's how you found this. You were looking for something, and just in time you found it. So that's a conversation for today. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to talk about the difference between assumable and non-assumable mortgages. And we're going to talk about the opportunity that is, which I've touched on here a little bit, but we'll deep dive that and we'll go through some deals together. If you got value out of this, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast if you're listening on audio. Share this in your social channels. Add value to the people around you and the people in your office and the people in your community. If you believe that there's value here, and know that everything is going to be okay. You are going to be prepared for this, and you are going to thrive because you are going to lean in and you are going to see the opportunity and grasp it. And this is going to be a really good season for you. Until we enjoy our next cup of coffee together, have a fantastic